Welcome to Making the Chessmen, the Knight and the Rook. In my previous videos, I built a one-of-a-kind chess table, then crafted the custom pawn and bishop to complement it. Today, it's time for the Knight and the Rook. In keeping with the style, the knight carries the same inlay around the base and contrasting wood at the mane. I glue maple and walnut in sequence, getting 2 knights out of each glue up. I modified the pattern to lengthen the nose. That makes the block deeper than it is wide. To keep the inlay flowing, the notch in front has to be cut deeper. Look closely at the pattern. The mane runs down the back of the head where the maple and walnut join. The mane I cut from the maple pattern will be used on the walnut knight, and vice versa. The key to compound cutting on a scroll saw is to keep the patterns together so the second cut stays true. I cut one side completely, all in one cut, tape it back together, then cut the other side the same way. A clamp helps for better control. The manes are tapered for a more natural look. It's a fine, delicate cut, but it makes the knight stand out. Shaping the nose and face requires a lot of sanding. Then, just like the others, I pour molten lead into the base for perfect weight and balance. The knight. Unpredictable, powerful, unlike any other piece, on the board and in the making. Now for the rook. As with all the others, I add the inlay, and drill for the lead-filled core. But the rook's base is different. For these cuts, I build a jig, holding the piece at just the right angle on the table saw sled. The contrasting caps are glued to the base. On the tower bodies, I add diamond-shaped windows on all 4 sides. The top begins with a cove cut on the bottom. Then the insides are carefully hollowed out. A hole is drilled in the crown to hold a marble. The parts are glued up with precision. And the marble is test-fitted. Because the top is so small, I build a zero clearance table from scrap wood to make the final cuts. These rooks take the most effort so far, layer after layer, cut after cut. But the result feels solid, architectural, timeless. The rook stands as a fortress, simple in movement, yet the backbone of defense. And that's the knight and the rook. So far, each piece has challenged me in new ways, but the best is yet to come. In the final video in this series, the king and queen, and the finished set in all its detail. What do you think? If you're enjoying this series, let me know with a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the final chapter of this project.